What is going on, guys? I'm back in Sedona.
Again?
Yes, again. Hey guys, so I'm pulled off on the side of the road here at the Upper Red Rock Loop. I believe it's at an area called Lover's Knoll. And I don't want to talk too loud because there's other people around, and for good reason. Look behind me. It's one of the most beautiful sunrises I've seen here in Sedona in a long time. I have my camera set up and I'm trying to capture something in the foreground. And there's not much here in terms of foreground interest, but I might not even need that. Honestly, I might zoom in all the way up to 50 millimeters or maybe 35 millimeters and capture what's in the distance, because that it can speak for itself. But I'm still looking around for some foreground interest. I did find a really cool juniper tree that I think would look really nice. However, it's really blocking the sun, so I don't think I'm gonna be able to get that. So I'm trying to find some other nice, decent foreground interest that would work for the scene. But if not, I mean, just can't go wrong with just shooting that sunrise over those cliffs. So I'm going to take a bunch of different shots here. Sunrise is going to happen in about 15-20 minutes. So we'll see what we can do with that. And then we'll move on to the next location. So that sunrise is just getting better and better. As you can tell, with that pink light coming off my face, it's absolutely gorgeous. And I think I'm in a good spot. The only question still remains as to whether or not to include something in the foreground or not. But I'm going to go along as well because you got to capture the sunrise in all its glory. There's absolutely no wind, which is beautiful. And there are different types of plants and trees that I can capture, but I would have to scramble around and I really don't want to miss any shots. So I'm taking as many shots as I can using different focal lengths, and I'm just trying to capture the sunrise as it happens. And we'll keep going here. There are some other people, which is why I'm trying to be a little bit more quiet. We'll keep going here. There's another spot that I wanted to try out, which is off the road, the Upper Red Rock Loop. And there's a road that kind of curves right into where the sun is rising. I feel like that'd be a cool shot, but there's so many cars parked there, I can already tell with their lights. I don't think I'm gonna get a clear shot of that road, so I don't think it's worth my time. I'm gonna focus instead on this area and keep shooting and see what I can get, because this is a magical sunrise right now. So we'll see what happens. What I'm trying to do is capture these bushes over here. I got those in the foreground with a little bit of the ground in front of it. And then obviously it's all about that sky with the distant rocks in the horizon. We got Cathedral Rock on this side, and we got some of the other cliffs on that side, and the sun is going to be rising right there in the middle. So it's really making a compelling scene. Only question is this good enough in the foreground to really add interest? I think what it does is add depth, so I feel like that's good enough for that. But I'm going to go for obviously something more in the distance like that. We'll try both. Right now I have the 17-50 lens. I might try the 70 millimeter lens and see if that can get anything better. We'll see what happens. The sun is starting to come up now. We might actually get a glimpse of it through the clouds. There's a lot of clouds there, but as soon as that sun maybe peeks a little bit out, I'm gonna try to capture that as fast as I can with that background. Beautiful, beautiful background of the red rocks of Sedona. We'll see what we could do. I still have my 17-50 on because I feel like even if I wanted to zoom in, there's not much there that in terms of detail. Like I can see the shapes, the silhouettes of those rocks, but in terms of actually getting detail, I'll need a 17-50. Right now I'm at about 35. I might zoom back out to 17 to capture everything in the foreground as well, with that sun lighting up a little bit of the foreground where I'm standing and a little bit of the different elements throughout the scene. It's not gonna light up the rocks because the rocks are backlit. So we'll see what happens. We'll keep going here and keep shooting. So I got some pretty cool images today, and this morning it was all about planning beforehand, in that I knew where I wanted to come. I knew that the sun was going to rise between those two cliffs there, and I knew that it would give me a good vantage point for that. I wasn't sure about foreground interest entirely, but honestly I don't think it mattered. But what I did was I came to the location, And I jumped out of my car, and this was literally 10 feet off the side of the road, and no hiking involved. It's all just pre-planning, checking out Google Maps and Google Earth to determine where the sun's going to be and where the rocks kind of orient themselves based on that. I definitely think I got some good images though, because that sunrise was epic. You couldn't get a bad image of it. I'll stick around for a few more minutes and we'll pack up to another location. Alright guys, so I'm on the trail right now going towards Submarine Rock. And this is the Broken Arrow Trail. I believe that's what it's called, on the eastern side of Sedona. And first of all, I have to apologize if I was rambling like a drunkard before about that sunrise. It was just, there's something so beautiful about it. It was one of the best sunrises I've seen in a long time. There were gorgeous purple, pinks, orange hues in the sky. And I was kind of fumbling around looking for words to describe it all and try to capture it in an image, because the truth is, my intent was to capture something where all the foreground interest and those rocks were going to be the focal point of the scene. When I got to that location at the Upper Red Rock Loop, it was honestly all about the sky. I mean, there's no fighting it, because you can try all you want to capture something that you think is going to look good, but when you have a sky such as that, it will overshadow basically everything unless you cut it out, and you can't do that. You need to capture that sky. That's the whole magic of it. So my intent at that point was changed focus to capturing the sky with at least a silhouette of some of those beautiful rocks in the foreground. But in terms of foreground interest, I don't think I really got anything that special. So now I'm at a location that I'm really here for a scouting out of a certain tree that I saw on Google Earth that kind of protrudes out of Submarine Rock. And what I'm going to try to do is see if that tree is something that is worthwhile to shoot when their conditions are a little bit hazy or extreme cloud coming in terms of the rocks actually being misted over by cloud, or when we have more interesting weather like rain or snow. And I think the forecast for next week actually does imply that there might be some rain coming through, and if it gets cold enough overnight, there might even be some snow. So those are the conditions that I really would like to shoot in. So right now I'm just here for a good hike and see if that tree is worthwhile and if there's anything else near Submarine Rock that is worth coming back to. So let's hit this trail. Finally, I made it to the top of Submarine Rock, and of course I went off trail as I always do, but I ended up at the right spot. And it's easy to tell because I don't think you're here behind me, but there's some ATVs and pink Sedona Jeeps crawling all up and down those rocks, and so I knew as soon as I heard those that was pretty close to Submarine Rock. But either way, I'm up here. The light is actually really beautiful because it's filtering between the clouds, so I actually might get some pictures today, but I don't feel I need to, which is good. And of course, I was able to find the tree that I wanted, which is right here. It's a beautiful lone tree, and I'm just going to walk around it a little bit and try to find an angle that I can shoot it from, which makes it really prominent and stand out as sort of a beacon of light in an otherwise somewhat desolate area, because this rock is just a giant smoothed out surface. It's really interesting and very, very stunning. You know, this tree is a great example of how changing your perspective really changes the whole scene. If I'm standing right now, which is at eye level, then the tree, yeah, it's nice, it's beautiful, it's standing on its own. But if you take the shot from here, it kind of gets lost in all the trees in the back, as well as in the rocks. You want to create some separation to make the tree stand out even more. And the way to do that without any atmospheric conditions like this is to go lower down. And you can watch what I'm doing. As I'm kneeling down, the more I kneel down, look at that. the more the tree is separated from that line of trees in the midground. And when I take a shot from here, all the way at the ground like this, you have that gorgeous foreground rock, the tree perched on top, in the sky, and those two gorgeous cliffs on this either side. This is a scene that has lots of drama and character. On Submarine Rock, which I'm still on, there's some really cool pockets in the rock face all over the place. And it's really begging for the opportunity to pour some of my water in there and try to get a shot of some reflections of the beautiful red rocks. And I'm getting some direct sunlight now, which is absolutely gorgeous. So what I did was, I poured some water down here. It's a little unorthodox, I know it's not necessarily natural. I explained this on one of my earlier vlogs, but the truth is, when it rains here, all these fill up with water. So I'm not really altering nature in any way. I'm just choosing to display a time that is not currently happening, that's all. But it might rain soon and these will fill up. But what I'm doing is filling up those pocket with water, and I'm trying to get a shot of the beautiful rock face behind me with some reflections in that water. So obviously from up here, there's not much you can see in that water, of course. But again, changing your perspective works like magic. As soon as you get down here, you can see that that rock is reflecting beautifully in that water. And I'm trying to get shots, trying to angle my lens properly, and of course not get it wet, where I can get a shot of that. And the truth is that those, in the foreground here, those two rocks coming up, the sides of the rock coming up on the sides provide beautiful balance. And I'm just getting that with some beautiful sunlight hitting those rocks so softly because it's coming through the clouds. And it's really providing a beautiful scene. I was totally not expecting this, but it's working like magic. So I'm taking a few shots over here and then we'll keep moving. So as I was going down Submarine Rock about to leave, I came across another tree, which is kind of standing on its own right here. And it's catching the beautiful sun, which has come out right now. Beautiful light going on this tree and some of the distant rocks. And I'm getting a shot of this tree also through that same gap that I got the other one. I don't even know which one I like more. I like them both. I'll have to check them out on the computer later and see which one I like more, but I think they're both beautiful. And again, this is a lesson in changing your perspective. From up here, the tree gets lost in all that muddled green of the distant trees beyond Submarine Rock, between here and those distant mountains. But as soon as you change your perspective, this tree just comes to life. As soon as you come down here, that changes everything. And I'm shooting from way down here to get a tree as high as I can in the scene, well balanced with that rock on that side and that rock on this side. And the truth is, the foreground rocks are creating beautiful, beautiful foreground interest with that tree being isolated. And there's some gorgeous light going on. I was not expecting to have any shots at this point in the morning that were really going to be worthwhile to capture. I was really just here to scout, but it just goes to show, you never know what's going to happen. And honestly, I'm just loving it right now. And I do think that it would be better, of course, when I do have that atmosphere, when I do have that separation between the foreground and the background. But even now, it's still creating something magic. So I'm back on the trail now, heading back to the car near the Broken Arrow trailhead, coming back from Submarine Rock. And boy, this morning was unexpected in many ways. And it just goes to show that you can plan and plan and plan again, but at the end of the day, you never really know what's going to happen in terms of the sky and how the light is going to interact with your landscape. I checked weather.com and all it said was partly cloudy. That could mean anything. Sometimes partly cloudy means terrible. Sometimes it's beautiful. You never really know. That's why you have to go out and go out and go out again and keep shooting and keeping out there ready to capture something when it does happen. So that's all for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up and please subscribe. And I'll see you on the next one. From Sedona, again, out. Again?